Hey guys, Zen here, and today, well, you guys see the title, you see the thumbnail, and as you could imagine, there's a lot to discuss in this video, so welcome back guys, I'm ready for this. First up, we have to talk about the latest Designer's Notes. Now, for those of you new, the Designer's Notes blog gives us a closer look at what's going on behind the scenes for Siege, and of course how the designers of the game are thinking about balancing and each of the operators' place in the meta. Now, just being honest, most times these notes are fairly predictable, especially if you've been playing for a while, you can kind of figure out the state of the meta, but this time around things are very interesting and it's important, so let's talk about it. Now we're going to start things off with the data for the attackers, and one of the biggest things you'll notice here is that they've changed the pick rate metric to a new presence metric, and this is because of pick and ban. Basically, presence represents the pick rate of an operator when they're not banned. Now based on this graph, it should be pretty clear who is meta right now. Twitch, Ashe, Zofia, Thermite, Hibana, and Jackal are all hanging around the same high presence and solid win delta, and for my personal time in ranked, this makes a lot of sense. There aren't a lot of rounds that go by without seeing at least one of these operators in the lobby, and typically when Jackal isn't banned, he's there. Maybe because he's amazing, or you Jackal mains are just opportunist and you know that it may be another week before you get to pick him, and so wisely, he's chosen. But based on what we've got here, there are a few outliers. The two I want to focus on are actually Nunc and Blackbeard, but before I give you guys my perspective, let's hear it from Ubisoft. So the devs mentioned both of these two specifically, and starting off with Blackbeard, they say, Blackbeard's win delta is currently on the rise. While we did not expect to see such a steep increase, we are following a few leads. We will continue to monitor his performance to see if tweaking is necessary to keep him on par with other attacking operators. So yeah, Blackbeard is just organically winning more rounds, and the devs are looking into exactly why that is. Now, personally, I've actually been playing more Blackbeard myself, and even though there hasn't been any substantial changes to him in quite some time, he feels almost perfect where he's at today. I really hope that another nerf isn't in order for this operator, and even if there was, what exactly could be done? With one more nerf to the shield, it'll make it obsolete, even more so than it is now, and I think taking away one of his shields run the risks of making him weak overall as an operator, so I'm not exactly sure what can actually be done. But I'm curious how you guys would change Blackbeard if it came down to it, so let me know. He's tough to balance because his ability negates the most prominent mechanic in this game, being the one-shot headshot, and yeah, I get the challenge, but let us continue. Nunc is the other operator singled out here on attack, and it's because I think she's clearly in need of a buff. Now, Ubisoft mentions her as well, and this is what they say. Nunc has had a slow start, and her pick rate is quite low. To make her a more attractive choice, we are currently reviewing some suggestions to improve her loadout. We feel it is premature to change anything regarding her as an operator for now, so for the time being, we would like to keep monitoring her performance. The last few weeks of Pro League have shown a few interesting uses of her ability, and we would like to keep an eye on it to see how she can evolve. So ultimately, the devs want to look at her loadout. As we know, she has access to the FMG9, the Silent 612 shotgun, the Deagle, and the FBI SWAT pistol. Now, to be honest, I think the community as a whole has wanted change to her loadout, but for me, this isn't her biggest issue. Nunc needs to be quieter, in my opinion. When you activate her gadget, the only thing you can't hear is her footsteps, but only if she's moving slowly. If she starts running or vaulting or really any other animation, including turning off the gadget, she can be heard, and it's those small audio cues that give off her positioning, which is everything to her. I think her vigil-like ability and being able to cloak from cameras works well, so no real issue there. But a unique ability I could see making her more viable would be, while the Hell gadget is active, allow her to silently move through barbed wire, and additionally, remove the glitch while doing so. Unlike Cav, Nunc has to approach the objective because she is an attacker, and so even if you use her to hunt down roamers at first, there will come a point to push the objective, and again, unlike Cav, she has to deal with the defender traps like barbed wire and goo. Nunc really needs to play that same mind game that Cav plays with the attackers. Her presence alone should strike fear into the defenders, and right now it really doesn't, and I think part of that is because if you're holding an anchor point and you know you've got goo or barbed wire at your weak spot, you know you'll hear it if she comes creeping up. So all in all, I think Nunc needs some specialties that only apply to her. Cav wouldn't be nearly as effective if she wasn't so spooky and unexpected, and it's that element that's missing from Nunc. She's bottom of the barrel right now based on this meta in particular, so a buff should be on the way very, very soon for her. Now, really quick, we can look at the ban rate of the attackers, and yeah, no big surprises here. Jackal, Monty, and Blackbeard lead the charge, and because of this, it seems that ops are being banned mainly because of the frustration they bring. But now we can move over to the defenders, and oh my god, Jaeger is literally off the charts here, and you all know what's coming. He's exclusive. No one else does what he does, and things will remain this wild for his data until that changes. Somehow, he's made his way into the 2 week category, but honestly, that could just be a seasonal thing. Jaeger is a beast in my eyes, and his only downside is the ADS time of the 416. Outside of that, he's just so good and one of the best defenders in the game. Now, with Jaeger off the chart, the rest looks fairly in line with what you'd expect, and where last season I felt attack was balanced, well, this season defense seems to be a little bit more consistent. Regardless though, both Kapkan and Frost are winning the majority of their rounds, and what this signals is that the attackers need to watch their step a little better, and honestly, I recommend tossing out a drone before you make a push. Both the EDD and the welcome mat are made to catch you off guard, and based off this data, they most definitely are. Now, an operator that surprises me here is actually the new Ember Rise operator Goyo and his stance on the graph. Not only is he not being picked all that much, he's also struggling to take the W in the round as well, so one might believe he needs a buff. For me, Goyo has some of the best weapons on defense, and no guys, I'm not just saying that because he carries a weapon from my main, but seriously, he may have it all with a C4, impacts, and his main gadget is also a deployable shield, so when you pick him, you're not missing out on much. I think he's here because more people are anchoring with this operator, and I think his design intention was to set up and go on a roam. If you do anchor with him, I say bring the TCSG with an ACOG and the C4 to hold down the objective. If you plan to roam, bring the Vector and the impacts to help quickly navigate the map. There really isn't much you can do as far as buffing this operator because if you buff his weapons, you run the risk of making the other ops with those weapons too strong, and the gadget doesn't really get much better than how it acts today, so Goyo is a tough one to really mess with in this meta, but his stats are low, so hopefully with time, people get more creative with him. Last up for data here, we have the band rates of the defenders, and again, it's what you'd expect. Mira and Echo top the charts with Clash, Valk, and Legion being runner-ups, but by less than half the time. I am a little surprised to see Mira being banned more than Echo, but ultimately these two are the most banned in my personal ranked matches, and typically if one isn't banned, the other always is. All in all, these are some eye-opening stats. I didn't expect Blackbeard to be faced with yet another nerf, and it honestly surprises me to see Goyo struggling to stay relevant here. But of course, if you guys have any thoughts you'd like to share about what we learned here, feel free. I'd love your perspective. Next up, the Halloween event is here, the Doctor's Curse. Ubisoft dropped a trailer for what's on offer, so let's take a look. So guys, this event is pretty awesome. It's basically a haunted version of hide and seek, and for the first time in Rainbow Six Siege, there's no guns. You won't be shooting really anything during this event, and instead, as an attacker, you'll hunt out the defenders, and as a defender, well, things go bump in the night, and you'll need to hide around until the round is over. If you make it, you win. If you're exterminated, then the attackers win. The gameplay is totally unique to the mode, and it's interesting, but let me know your thoughts on how you're getting along. Now, what's really cool is the lore here. Doc has gone mad, and he's locked away in a castle performing experiments on some of the operators. On offer are Ella, Frost, Bandit, Smoke, and Legion, while a few different variants of Sledge make their way to attack with some existing abilities like Jackal's Inox and Lion's EE1D. Theme Park is the custom map, and of course included is the Halloween decor. So guys, I'll of course be bringing you guys some gameplay and some more in-depth thoughts as the event carries on, but for now, that's what we've got. Now, I'm getting chills. Let's get Ghost. Next, a small update, but the casual map rotation has changed. They've removed Skyscraper, Fortress, Hereford, and Chalet, and have added back House, Tower, Plain, and Favela. They say that neither Bartlett or Theme Park will be playable during Season 3, and of course, Force theme park will be seeing a rework next season, but still no hope for Bartlett University, which hasn't really been playable for some time now. Ultimately, these changes are to help players get more comfortable and familiar with all of the maps in Siege, and so rotations like this help to keep up to date. Finally, guys, for the last update here, our fourth and final, we have some new bundles, and man, do I love the one for Kaid. First off, Clash with the Decidius bundle. You'll gain access to the R Nettle uniform and headgear, Oak Critter charm, and Berry Bramble weapon skin for the P10C. Next, the two Moroccan operators and the Brigade bundles. You'll get the local fighters uniforms for both Nomad and Kaid. And then finally, one for Fuse. Push the objective with Fuse's Advanced bundle. Includes the Stern March uniform, 5-point headgear, fragmentation stick charm, and clean shot weapon skin for the AK-12. So guys, which bundle is your favorite? And I'm sure you'll never guess mine. But that is everything for this video, and even though we went in all different directions here, I had fun with this one, guys. There is a lot more in store here on the channel, so now is a great time to subscribe and turn on those notifications as we wrap up here. Now, it's your turn though. I want to hear from you. What are some of your early impressions of the new Halloween event, and does Blackbeard need a nerf? Leave everything in a comment down below. If you guys did enjoy this video, please drop a like and subscribe with notifications if you're new. With that being said, it's been Zen. Hey.